All right, let's take a look at some of the basic operations we'll be focusing on at this time. So the first thing I want to do is go to, some website that, and I went ahead and looked up what is an operation or the definition of an operation. And I found this mathsfun.com, and it gives a decent, I guess, definition. It says that an operation is a process, right? Most common processes. So again, mathematical process, and the most common are addition, subtraction, multiply, and divide. Okay, or it add, subtract, multiply, and divide, right? So this is you all know this is a symbol for add, of course, subtract, of course, multiply, which we're going to get away from using this symbol, and same with division. We're going to get away from using this exact symbol as well. But it says here that there are many more, such as squaring, which means exponents, uh, square roots, logs, etc., logarithms, etc. They're saying this is just a generic like catch-all. They're saying if it isn't a number, it's probably an operation. For example, obviously 25 is a number, obviously 6 is a number, obviously 31 is a number. So those are expressions, to be quite honest. And this whole thing's an expression, and then this whole thing's an equation, right? We got an expression on one side, an expression. Anyways, I'm going too far. So I'm going to say focus, operation, focus, Mr. Moore. This plus sign here, that's the operator, right? And that's the operation of addition. So let's look at what we're going to be looking at. Which operators are we going to be looking at? Or what basic operations will we focus on at this time? So let's get right into it. The quick answer is parentheses. Oh man. Multiplication, and then addition and subtraction. All right. But what do these operators look like? They're just symbols, right? The operators are symbols symbolizing the operation that you want to use. So if you see this symbol here, those are your parentheses. Anytime you see that, you just point these guys out and you're like, hey, those are parentheses. Parentheses are like, hey, this is important. I want you to do this first. Very important, very important. Do what's inside the parentheses first. Okay. Let's look at multiplication. All right, you guys have seen this symbol here, but I'm going to say we ain't going to use it anymore. We're not going to use that multiplication symbol anymore because we have variables now, and we don't want to get that operator of multiplication and variables confused. So we're not using the x anymore as an operator. But you might replace it with a dot or an invisible sign. You're like, Mr. Moore, what is this? Imaginary land? Are we shooting invisible things here? Yes. Remember our example from before when you made $11 per hour, right? And let's say if you worked 2 hours, you would take your 11 times your 2. Wait a minute, Mr. Moore. There is no symbol in between the 11 and the X. You're right. And for some reason, I think mathematicians just got lazy and they said, look, if there's a letter next to a number, it's multiplication. Also, you could have an invisible sign between a number 11 and a parenthesis. There's the invisible sign right there. You don't see it, do you? But if you see a number next to a parenthesis, all right? Number next to a parenthesis with no symbol in between, that means that you're going to multiply this guy here by whatever's in the parentheses. Clear? Confusing? Oh, man. Okay. You might have to rewind to catch that again if necessary, maybe not. Now on to addition. Well, the addition symbol looks like this. You've seen it before. Then you call it a plus sign. And for subtraction, you might see this symbol. So this symbol, some people call it a minus sign, but this is the operator for subtraction. These are the operations that we're going to be dealing with. I think the trickiest the trickiest ones to identify are multiplication because of that pesky invisible sign, right? You don't see it, so you're like, oh, it's nothing. There is no operator there. Yes, there is. It's multiplication. So again, we got parentheses, multiplication, addition, and subtraction are the operators, basic operations that we'll be focusing on at this time. Have a great day.